Black beans. They are loaded as well. These are black beans. These pods will turn white. When they're fully ripened, we will pull these plants out of the ground and they will get hung up in the lean-to to dry. And we will dry out the black beans on the plant and store them dry. So this is my one dry bean that I do. So we want to make sure that these are a little bit more ripe before we go ahead and terminate the crop. See, I pulled this one just as a tester. These beans are not black yet. So as they ripen and dry, they will turn black. And that'll be your black bean. All right, y'all, here's a little update on the black beans. It is almost time to start pulling the plants. You can see right here, these plants, they've gotten very yellow at the bottom. And the seed pods are starting to turn like a whitish purplish color. So it is about time to pull these plants and start letting these beans dry out. Not all of them, but you see this one's fallen over. So as they're starting to do that, I will cut it right at the root. That way I leave some of the roots in the ground for organic matter, and take these up to the porch and hang them out to dry. These ones are not quite ready to be pulled yet. So I'll probably start pulling some of them. And as they're starting to turn yellow, go ahead and pull them and hang them. All right, so let's pick one of these. All right, so I'm going to shell one of these black beans so y'all can see what it looks like now that it has started to dry out. Look at that. I think the black beans are so pretty. All right, and there they are. Black beans. All right, let's get some of these cut and taken up. All right, well, I've got almost one full row pulled up. There should be a whole lot of black beans in that wheelbarrow. I left a couple of the plants. They didn't look like they were quite ready. And then I've got this whole row to go still too. And of course, a ton more zipper peas. All right, let's get these black beans up to the porch. And I don't have my string set up to actually hang them up. So I think what I'm gonna do right now is just put them on the picnic table, and maybe in a day or so, go ahead and hang some string that I can tie them up on. But for now, I am going to just get them up to the porch and sit down and enjoy this beautiful, beautiful evening. Look at all those black beans. All right, so here are my dried beans. They've been sitting on the picnic table for about 2 weeks. And you can see they are getting very crunchy. So time to finish the process. Well, hey y'all, it's been a couple of weeks since I brought all the black beans up to the picnic table. I never did set any string to tie them up just because I didn't get to it. So they have just been laying on the picnic table, and they have started to dry out really well, and my chickens have started to come up here and get into them. So what I'm doing now, you can see I've got a pretty decent pile here. I'm going through and picking the pods off of the dried plants, And then I'm stripping the leaves off of the dried plants also because I'm going to use this on some of my beds just as some organic matter to add to the garden. So once I get all of these pods pulled off of the plants, I'll shell them. And at that point, I can store them dry in a mason jar or vacuum sealed in a bag. Or I do have the option to pressure can them, which I'm actually kind of thinking of doing. I've never pressure canned my black beans, but I thought it might be nice to have them on the shelf already processed and ready to go. So we'll see. We'll see how ambitious I feel about it once I shell all these beans. All right, so this pot of black beans soaked all night, so for just under 24 hours. I figured I might as well pressure can them just for fun. It's amazing what I do for fun now. They're so pretty. So these beans have boiled now for 30 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and rinse them, drain them, rinse them, and pack them into my clean jars. All right, my jars are packed with the hot beans. So what I'm going to do now, normally this recipe calls for just topping these beans off with hot water and some salt, but I just made some bone broth. So I'm going to top it off with bone broth and water and salt just to give it some extra flavor. Cleaning these rims here with just a little bit of vinegar. Make sure that they are extra clean so these jars seal up nicely. All right, we're ready to get these into the canner. I would have much rather processed these in all the same size jars, but this is what I had. So that's what I'm going with. These are quarts and pints. Since they have bone broth in them and since they're beans, I'll process them for a full 90 minutes at 10 pounds of pressure. All right, the canner's full. I had one extra space, so I just put a jar of water in there, which will end up being a jar of sterilized water, which will also be nice to have on the pantry shelf as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this closed up. Well, this really stinks. I do not know what I'm going to do with this pressure canner full of black beans. This little piece right here was broken on my pressure canner and I did not realize it until I got this whole pot going, and this just popped right out. Apparently it is missing the back piece to it that keeps it attached to the canner. Well, this is a bummer. I guess at this point, I'm gonna just open up these jars and go ahead and just freeze them. Just as if I was gonna like blanch and freeze them, which isn't really what I wanted to do. I really wanted to pressure can these, but I guess I'm gonna have to order some parts for my pressure canner. So it's a bummer, but gotta do what you gotta do. Well, it's not quite what I was hoping for, but I did end up getting 8 of these vacuum sealed so I could put them in the freezer. And these other 3 jars, since I put bone broth in here, I don't want to waste the bone broth. I'm just going to put these in the refrigerator, and they actually sealed. The jars did. So I think they'll be good for a couple of weeks, and we'll eat them up within that time. So the good news is I got my black beans all put up, just not quite how I was hoping to, but oh well. And hey, don't forget, like and subscribe if you like my videos. Thanks.